She used to tremble at every harsh word, every loud voice, every wrong look. She used to flinch when someone raised their voice, even if it wasn't at her. She'd freeze when a door slammed. Her fingers would curl into her palms, nails digging into her skin, anytime someone's expression darkened. She had trained herself to read the air like her life depended on it, because once upon a time, it did. Every harsh word, every wrong look, every loud footstep on the floor above, reminded her of nights when silence was broken by shouting, and shouting was followed by fists. It wasn't just fear, it was survival. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength it takes to heal, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Royal Stories. It helps us bring more powerful stories like this to people who need them. Her name was Meena, 22. She had the kind of eyes that looked tired even when she smiled, deep brown, framed with lashes that held secrets she had never spoken aloud. She worked at a small bookshop in a quiet part of town, where no one raised their voices, and the loudest thing was the rustle of pages. It was her sanctuary, but even there, she walked like a shadow. Never too loud, never too fast, always apologizing, always shrinking. The scars on her arms had long faded, but the ones on her heart never truly did. She'd grown up in a home that should have been safe, but wasn't. Her father, once a respected schoolteacher, had turned into someone else after her mother passed away. The grief twisted him, poisoned him, until it spilled into rage. Meena became the target of his unraveling, his disappointment, his guilt, his unchecked fury. What began as scolding turned into screaming, then hitting, then silence, cold, weaponized silence that made her doubt her own worth, her own right to breathe. She left that house at 19, with a broken suitcase and even more broken dreams. A distant aunt in the city offered her a place to stay, but not much else. Meena took up cleaning jobs, then moved into the little bookstore once the owner, Mrs. Kapoor, a widow in her 70s, offered her a room above the shop. "Books don't judge," she had said, handing Meena a copy of Jane Eyre. "Neither do I." Mrs. Kapoor became her anchor. The woman never asked questions Meena couldn't answer. She just let her be. And for the first time, Meena began to unlearn fear. Slowly, she started arranging the shelves instead of hiding behind the counter. She made tea for the regulars. She smiled, timid, but real. Yet even then, the trembling never fully stopped. The trauma had rewired her. A customer's raised voice over a missing book could bring her back to that dimly lit room where her father's belt hung like a threat. The past was a ghost that followed her everywhere. But change has a strange way of creeping in through the cracks. One rainy afternoon, a little girl named Anya came into the shop. Barely 10, with bright eyes and a laugh that sounded like wind chimes. She was soaked, looking for shelter. "My mom's running late," she said, shivering. Meena wrapped her in a towel, handed her cocoa, and let her sit by the heater. That small act opened something in Meena. Anya kept coming back. Her mother, Divya, was a social worker new to the neighborhood. Over the weeks, their casual conversations turned into longer chats. Divya had a calming energy, the kind that didn't pry but made space for stories to bloom. One day, Meena confessed she never went beyond the 5 streets around the shop. "It's safe here," she said quietly. Divya nodded, and instead of telling her to be brave, she said, "What if I walked with you?" And they did, one street at a time. A new cafe, a park, a poetry reading. Meena's world slowly expanded, not because someone pushed her, but because someone walked beside her. Still, her journey wasn't without setbacks. One evening, a man in the park shouted at his dog, and Meena dropped her coffee, trembling violently. People stared. She couldn't breathe. That night, she locked herself in her room and didn't come out for 2 days. Mrs. Kapoor didn't knock. She just left food at the door and a note that said, "Healing isn't a straight line. And you are allowed to pause." But Meena didn't stay paused forever. She started writing again, something she had stopped doing as a teenager. Poetry, mostly. Words she couldn't speak out loud found life in ink. She even pinned a few to the shop's noticeboard. A customer once read one aloud and teared up. "Did you write this?" they asked. Meena nodded, heart pounding. "It's beautiful," they said. "It felt like you were speaking to my own hurt." That night, Meena cried, not from pain, but from the unfamiliar warmth of being seen. Over the months, she began running small poetry readings at the shop. At first, her hands shook with the mic. Her voice cracked, but no one laughed, and with each poem, with each applause, her posture straightened. She was still soft, but no longer fragile. One winter morning, she got a letter from her father. The handwriting was shaky. He was in a hospice, alone, dying. "I'm sorry," it read. "I was a coward. You deserved love. I don't expect forgiveness. But I needed you to know, I see what I did. And I hope one day, you'll find peace beyond what I took from you." Meena stared at that letter for hours. Then she folded it and placed it inside Jane Eyre, between the pages where the character says, "I am no bird, and no net ensnares me." She didn't reply, she didn't go, but she forgave, for herself. That night, she slept without nightmares. Today, the bookshop has changed. It's brighter. There's art on the walls, cushions on the window seats, and a board that says, "Meena's Corner," where young girls leave notes about their dreams. Meena wears sunflower yellow sweaters now. She laughs, freely. Her voice doesn't tremble, and when someone raises theirs, she doesn't shrink. She breathes, and stands, because she is no longer the girl who flinches at harsh words. She is the woman who turned whispers of pain into stories of survival. If this story touched your heart, even a little, please like, comment, and subscribe to Royal Stories. Share this with someone who needs hope. Your support helps us keep telling real, powerful stories of healing, love, and strength. Speech balloon special request. Before you go, please comment below, what part of Meena's journey moved you most? Let's fill this space with empathy, healing, and hope.